Emma's van was now really starting to take shape, going from bare cargo van to something resemblant of a tiny home. This had involved plenty of hard work and toiling away, especially for Emma, who was fresh to all these many new skills that are required. But she was getting there. Now the basic framework was in, the walls could start to go up. A job involving scribing that I absolutely despise. But these were the last few days before we'd be filling the van to the brim and relocating to our new workplace.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Fucking bosh it in there then.
What am I going to do with this salt? I didn't even think.
Carpet it. Yeah. You want to keep that void like there because that's where the seat's sitting, isn't it? Up until here.
Yeah, I just didn't. Yeah. Matches the roof, sort of.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, is it warm?
I know, get your legs out. No.
The top over a bit.
Over where?
Towards this way. So you've still got a little bit to get there. There you go. Yeah, she can do it.
Break everything in the meantime.
Nah, be right. Now the problem comes with tucking it down the wall. Lovely.
Yeah.
Give it a kick. With some minor persuasion, the wall slid snugly behind the frame and in. Oh my goodness.
Is it really different?
Yeah, it's massively different.
I mean, you're going to have to do that.
Before we knew it, we'd got into the swing of things and walls were flying up.
I knew that was going to come in, but...
Is that alright?
Smacked it that way.
Yeah? Yeah, we're going to screw that in.
Do you want to have a go?
Oh, smell.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
You do feel like you want to do that a bit though, because the van roof.
Yeah.
Not used to that.
It does feel big though. Like
Bigger than mine.
I know it'll come in, but...
Are you happy? End of a work day. It's now Pims and pie.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'll get the boob out of the fridge.
Chicken tooth.
The next morning was a weekday, meaning Emma had to shoot to work, leaving me to tinker on the van on my own. Just on the gas tank for Emma's van. And we're having to do it a little bit differently because along here there is a seam line, meaning the brackets and stuff don't fit up properly. It just sort of staggers off there and doesn't go all that great. And as well as that, Emma decided to go for sheep's wool, meaning that the floor is now impenetrable to anything you need to get through it. So what we're going to do instead is I've got some of the leftover uni strut, nice hefty stuff that, and I'm going to lock it into the chassis rail down like that, then mount the LPG clamps this way. Now I've put a bit of thought into the fact that it's no longer weight down, more weight angled, but Unistrut can hold aircon units on walls, and you know, it's just hefty stuff, and the chassis is the strongest part of any vehicle. At the back there is a tow hitch merely bolted through the chassis legs, so if it can hold that and it can hold a trailer of God knows how much weight, it can hold a Unistrut and an LPG tank. So I've got my bit of a Unistrut there. I've drilled the holes already because nobody wants to see you drilling holes for a chassis. That's now in there. I've got nice big fat washers. I think these are M10 bolts. Annoyingly, having come under here, all this sill along here, which granted is often bad on the Sprinters, but we didn't think Emma's was that bad. Now appears they've done some sort of magicry paint job and it's all just starting to blow again. So although it is still in a really good nick for for an old Sprinter, this whole bottom here is starting to go, so it's going to need some treatment at some point. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to hold that. We'll figure that out later on. We've got this some more washing. Solid. Watch my damn face. I had to go into an electrical wholesaler today, CEF, and I could not for the life of me remember the name of these things. They actually gave me the wrong ones. I wanted the ones with threads on, but never mind. But yeah, I was there, like, you put them in Unistra and then they got like a spring on them, and then you twist them, and then they just in. And the guy was just looking at me blank for ages, and I just kept having to reiterate what I just said. And on the third time of saying basically the same thing, he was like, "Oh, you mean Zebedee's?" Like I was going to remember the name Zebedee. Right. You're on there. Can you go up any further than that? Oh no, you're on that. So you've got to go there. Lovely. Should work nice, actually. On. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, all I need to do now is repeat that there. Which I'm not going to take you through, I'm just going to go. There we go. Okay. Let the hilarity ensue.
No, I did not have a suitable jack or pulley system or trebuchet or whatever the hell you armchair engineer wankers are trying to type right now. Shut up.
Oh, the wrong way around already. Right. No. No. How the bloody... Not planned this very well. Oh, there's too much van in the way. Oh, it can't go that way either. So I was just going to slide it up, kink it up, into there, bolt, bolt, done. Of course not. What a stupid, naive way of thinking that was. This is a camper van. Okay. I have a plan. I have a plan. Bend you out of the way. Who? He popped a blood vessel. Come on. Where are you? Oh well, that just went way better than I expected. Yes. Thank God for that. I didn't have an aneurysm. Ah, should have gone that way actually. Or should I? Because that's where the exhaust is. I think we're going to have to put an aluminium plate here. It's just a little bit close to the exhaust for my liking.
Annoyingly, when you look at the bottom of the van, this is the only place it can go.
Jesus, I need like 4 arms.
So we've got to make it work.
That is going nowhere.
But what I don't have is the outlets in the right angle. They're aiming a little bit too low. So I did what any like-minded bloke would do and just called it a day. The tank's on and travel safe, it's one less thing we have to put inside. And once I've come up with a solution, we'll come back round to it.
Right, today's the big day.
moving day. We're going to load all of what's in that building there into this and mine. And then yeah, getting this over to the barn as well. It's going to make things a lot easier, you know, just in any weather we can crack on. Loads of storage, power leads wherever we need them. We can cut the last hole in the roof for the rear skylight with no worries. Take bits off with no worries, you know, just get everything done knowing it's going to be under shelter and fine. It's been busy doing the other few bits as well. Got a few more panels in now. The fridge has arrived. Just been doing some more framework. Oven, very nice fridge. Batteries in the back there as well. Yeah, so today's just a case of filling this to the brim and getting everything moved over. I'll get it. First drive in a year. Oh. Oh, that's nice.
Mother. I'll phone you back.
Alright.
Something very wrong with this mirror.
Why?
It's like... Oh, there you go.
Yep, Emma's van basically hasn't moved for a year, reflected by the giant hole in the grass that it's left. But it fired straight up, and after a short spell of smokiness, it's running sweet as a nut. So we started loading it up to the brim with all the parts, materials and possessions. It was only whilst doing this I'd noticed she'd been busy doing other jobs, like finishing off the other bedroom pod and fitting an extra window. Both vans now loaded up to the hilt, it was time for our first ever Sprinter convoy.
What it's like up quite a steep hill.
Faster than mine, I'm gonna say. And it was. Quite a lot faster actually. I think this van has just been desperate for a good run. Now everything was back at our base of operations. We started offloading and setting up where we wanted everything, before calling it a night. The next day started with quite a hefty redesign.
It feels better, and like with that, I was just really worried about that cupboard and this side just being like, oh, I've got to get in the cupboard, oh, I've got to get in the fridge. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit.
Yeah. So with that, it's if Lance wasn't sat on the blue tape, we could see. There we go. Good boy.
And then you got to stay down.
Stay down.
You got to stay down.
Rest
No,
of that
you're gonna
dodgy
stay
paw.
down.
So your oven, whatever side you put it on, probably comes about there. That's a decent sized sink, isn't it?
I mean, there's a massive gap.
Yeah. And then back here, because we're cladding on this side, you'll have a big void here.
Yeah.
So you'll get the cool air from the garage.
Yeah.
And then it will vent up the side of itself. So that won't be an issue.
So after a fair bit of head scratching and figuring out what would work, the log burner's now going to where it's currently sat by the door. The fridge is coming up and into the log burner's place, shimmying the whole kitchen backwards as well, which should make the van work and feel a lot better.
Yeah, given that little gap there. The doors, how much do they? Oh, they just pivot on themselves.
Yeah.
This apparently is for Coke cans or Emma's IPAs.
Yeah, I know. I've only got a tropical blast at the
I
moment.
see.
A 0 sugar.
So you just store them up and
I should
then.
have bought more. Hang on. Yeah, what do you do? Sugar. Oh.
Ah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, stops them rattling.
Oh.
Well now, and you can genuinely fit a 6-pack. Brewski.
Whilst I made a start on the kitchen, Emma started putting on her new bumper and tarting up a few bits on her T4, as today it was being viewed and potentially sold. A tough day that I think she was dreading, but needed. There's not much point having 2 camper vans, and her T4 realistically couldn't be lived in full time. So on the Friday, that was 2 days prior, she put it up on the Quirky Campers classifieds, which generated a lot of interest. Some of which from the couple today, which came, viewed it and bought it. So before we even knew it, the T4 was backing out the door and on its way to its new home. It was quite hard to see it go. It was partially the reason me and Emma even met in the first place. Both having an interest in campers and being out and about, we first met at a New Year's camp out in Wales. She joined us on the first part of our Scotland trip, and it would come to feature quite heavily during our first few dates and outings. It joined us in Devon, where we found Lance seemed to prefer it to our van. And many adventures in between. It's played a key role throughout our relationship and has been a cracking van. I think it hit her quite hard, so as well as taking it easy today, we cracked out the whiskey.
They managed to get the payment thing sorted then? Yeah. It's always really awkward, that bit, isn't it? Banks trying to stop payment and... Get there, man. Day one, gone. You'll be fine. Oh, poured a big one.
And with that, it was back to the new van, where the kitchen was causing me some headaches.
Oh my god, that took longer than I'm willing to admit. What I will admit though is wood is just not my strong point. When it comes to wood and getting everything square, but also getting it to find the contours of the van, obviously you can't use spirit levels, everything's got to be done off square. And it's not like we're building this modular and then putting it in, we're building it into the van because we're experimenting. So it's just a lot of put things together. Oh wait, I forgot about that. But we got there. So now that should be where the oven goes. That is the area Emma has to decide what sink she wants. She's got a worktop to go on top of here. Got a bit of a 45 here, and we've got something we can figure out in there, maybe some little shelves or something. Maybe even a wine holder, who knows. Yeah, and then it's cupboard under there. The fridge is now level. Right, let's go and get the oven, make sure it fits in that hole. Okay. Give me my fingers. Oh. Well, it fits. I don't think she quite thought out how deep it was when she selected how deep she wanted her kitchen. This is because of the fucking rug. I can get rid of that, but will that give me enough? It might. Right, so I've got a back batten, but if I was to get rid of that at 34mm, okay, that's re-trimmed up. Ooh, I'll fit in there perfectly. Yes, we're getting somewhere. That opens. Oh god damn, this one's hurt my brain. Grab your shit, bung it in, wash it up. I mean, having the, obviously the ambulance, panel vans I've never thought, but I'm liking this van, I really am. And that's not me trying to be pompous, obviously I'm just a helper here. This is Emma's van, Emma's build, Emma's choices. But yeah, it's nice. It's got a real sort of cabin-y feel. Even though it's just in framework, you can see what's to come now. Even more so when that wall's up there, where you are. That wall's up there and sort of segments off the bedroom area. Once there's a door for the garage, we'll start to get the feel for what's going on. And I cannot wait to see the back of the bloody sheep's wool. She's still undecided on what she's doing for overhead lockers, so until that decision's made, they're just there. Plus it gives us the opportunity, if she wants any sort of high up lighting or anything like that, we've got right until the end to run those wires up in the roof. Any lower end stuff obviously runs through the furniture. Yeah, it's starting to feel like we've broke the back of it now. Think about it now. Your head won't explode.
I see a sky with a rainy car, but I'm not running. I see a train